Amaka was born in Canada. Her parents, Obinna and Adora, were not. They came from Nigeria on 6 months visitors' visas, but the plan was never to return. Back in Lagos, the pressure was mounting. Obinna's friend Raphael had already left, 9 years undocumented, still undetected. You can raise your child here, Raphael had told him. Make something, send money home. It's not easy, but it's a chance. Obinna couldn't shake the thought. He started saving, doing small jobs, side hustles, selling his old electronics. Then he made the hardest decision of all. He sold the land his late father had left him. It was all he had, ancestral land passed down through generations. But Obinna saw no future in holding on to soil he couldn't survive on. His mother was devastated. You want to throw away your roots for a country that doesn't even know your name? She asked. But his mind was made up. Adora stood with him. They pulled everything together. For visa applications, 2 plane tickets, and just enough cash to breathe. The night before they left, his mother called him aside. She held his hand tight, placed her other palm on his chest and whispered, God go protect una. Just don't forget who you are. And that was enough. A chance. They applied for visitor visas, they were approved and they left. In Canada, they worked the only way they could. Obinna took construction jobs, paid in cash, names changing each gig. Adora cleaned homes and worked as a nanny in rich neighborhoods. She kept her head down, her words few, always cautious, always calculating what not to say. They lived like ghosts, present but never truly seen. When Amaka was born in a local hospital, the weight of responsibility became real. They weren't just surviving for themselves anymore. They had a daughter now, a future to protect. Obinna picked up more shifts. Adora stretched every dollar. They didn't talk about fear. They walked through it. Amaka was beautiful. She had her mother's curls, her father's eyes, and a quiet, watchful mind. Their 3rd floor apartment had a large window that faced nothing but the sky. At night, the moon hung there like a guardian. As a toddler, she would crawl to that window, press her fingers to the glass, and stare. She didn't know what the moon meant yet, but it felt like hers. They moved 3 times, new neighborhoods, new names, new routines. Each time, fear trailed them like a shadow. Amaka learned the rules quickly. No permission slips, no field trips, no questions, stay small, stay silent. At the construction site, Obinna found his rhythm. Noise helped, walk helped. And then there was Raphael, his old friend. They had reconnected in Canada, still living in the margins. They shared quiet lunches, sitting on gravel piles, talking about family, about staying invisible, about surviving. One afternoon, Obinna reached into his wallet and pulled out a worn, creased photo of Amaka, maybe 6 years old, beaming next to a paper rocket she built from scraps. She says she wants to be an astronaut, he said softly. Raphael looked at the photo, then at his friend. Let her dream, he said. Let no one break her. That blessing stayed with Obinna like armor, like hope. As Amaka grew, she built rockets from scraps, paper tubes, wire hangers, aluminum foil pulled from food trays. Anything she could find became fuel for her next invention. She devoured space books, borrowed from the library 2 at a time, watched documentaries late into the night, eyes wide, questions forming faster than answers. At school, she entered every science fair she could find. She didn't just dream, she was driven, she acted. While other kids played, she sketched flight paths. While her parents whispered about bills, she talked to the moon. As she grew, so did her ambition. What started as curiosity became purpose. Space wasn't just far away, it was a direction, a goal, a way out. When she won a small creativity prize, just a local award, a certificate, and a shiny plastic plate, they placed it by the window, the same window she used to crawl to as a toddler. The moonlight caught it just right. And for a moment, in that quiet apartment, everything felt possible. One night, she was 12. Amaka had fallen asleep by the window again, forehead pressed to the glass, breath fogging the pane. The house was quiet, the city dim, the sky wide. She woke at midnight to a strange soft light, like a star had wandered too close. Outside, floating just beyond the glass, was something, someone. Moonlight. Not threatening, just curious. Amaka didn't scream. She blinked, then whispered, "What are you?" No answer, no sound, just the soft glow waiting. "If you could go anywhere," she asked, her voice steady, "where would it be?" The being tilted its head as though it was thinking. Amaka turned her gaze upward towards the moon. Her voice was quiet but certain. "Fly me to the moon." The creature reached out its hands, shimmered, bright and unreal, and Amaka, just for a moment, rose, weightless, fearless, free. As they floated higher, the city shrank beneath her, just lights and shadows in a sleeping world. The moon grew larger, brighter, impossibly close. It filled her view, filled her chest, felt like destiny. And then, "Chiamaka!" She blinked hard. The glow was gone. She was back on the wooden floor. Feet cold, neck stiff. Adora stood in the hallway, half asleep, arms folded. "I told you to stop sleeping there," she said. "Go and lie down properly." Amaka nodded and obeyed, but she never forgot. Amaka pushed hard through high school, late nights, early mornings, head buried in books, mind somewhere in space. She still wanted to be an astronaut, more than ever. Obinna and Adora gave everything they had to support her, every spare dollar, every quiet encouragement. They couldn't give her peppers, but they gave her belief. By senior year, Amaka had earned everything she reached for: top grades, awards, respect. And then came the final honor, valedictorian. She couldn't hide her pride. She dreamed of MIT. She dreamed of launch pads and stars. She was ready to speak, ready to soar. Obinna promised he would be there. He had a morning shift but swore he would finish early. Adora had taken the day off. She stayed home, helped Amaka get dressed, braided her hair, rehearsed her speech with her. At school, as the auditorium filled, Amaka asked, "Where is Dad?" "I don't know what's keeping him," Adora said gently. Before she could ask again, classmates pulled her aside for photos. Miles across town, CBSA agents arrived at the construction site, plainclothes, calm, clipboard in hand, polite enough to be dangerous. Someone whispered, "They had the boss hires illegals." Then Raphael shouted, loud and clear, "CBSA!" Obinna didn't wait, he ran. Across scaffolding like trampolines, over fences, through gaps in metal and wood. Then, snap! His ankle twisted on impact. Pain shot through him, but he didn't stop. Limping, he was badly injured, half running, half dragging his body forward because he had made a promise. He said he would be there.